Hi there, my name is Debbie Jerglowitz, and I am the Operations Director at the Community Health Clinic in Topeka, Indiana. Today, I will be speaking to Glen Hershberger. Glen is a member of our Board of Directors, serves on our Ethics and Research Committee, and has patient ties to the clinic. Glen, welcome, and thank you so much for talking with me today. Would you mind sharing your story with those that are listening?
Well, thanks, Debbie. My wife and I are both 66 years old. We married in 1979 and bought a 50-acre farm. I worked in the trailer factories and did farming throughout the years. My favorite hobby is making pedigrees. We are blessed with 3 sons and 2 daughters. They are all married and we have 16 grandchildren. We had 4 other children that were not healthy. They were sick a lot and were in and out of the hospital with pneumonia and blood disorders. They all died at a young age. Melvin, our oldest son, was in 3 different hospitals for over 300 days. He had over 200 blood transfusions, and he died in 1983 at 3 years of age. We never got a medical diagnosis from the doctors until the day our 4th child died. That was in 1986. The day the test results came back, we found out that all of our children that died had severe combined immune deficiency syndrome, also known as SCIDS. It is genetic. In 2002, we did genetic testing at the Clinic for Special Children in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We wanted to find out what type of SCIDS it is. The test results showed that my wife and I are both carriers of Omen's syndrome, which is a type of SCIDS. We also found out that all of our children had a 25% chance of being born with SCIDS. Throughout our trials, we never knew anyone else ever having anything like this with their children. We felt so alone, but when our genetic test results came back, the doctor told us that there were 7 more Amish families in the Midwest that also have children with SCIDS, and that all of our families are somehow related. That is because all of the families were carriers of the same mutated gene. Because of our experiences with SCIDS, I was asked to serve on the board of directors for the Community Health Clinic. I thought of all the help and support that we received from others and thought that this would be one way to help others in return. I also serve on the Research and Ethics Committee for the clinic as well.
Thank you for sharing that, Glen. So let's talk about pedigrees. A pedigree is a representation of our family tree. It shows how individuals within a family are related to each other. But how did you go about creating pedigrees?
I have made a few thousand pedigrees on people who have genetic disorders. I have been able to connect them all the way back to the person from Europe who brought over the disorder. I currently have over 300 church directories and family record books in my library. First, I start out with the latest church directory and then go to the Barbara Hostetter Family Record Book, which was printed in 1938, and the Jacob Hostetter Family Record Book, printed in 1912. From there, I go to the Amish and Amish Mennonite Genealogy Book by Hugh Gingrich and Rachel Kreider. This book has 954 pages and has all the Amish immigrants and their descendants up to the year 1865. When the doctor told us that 8 SCIDS families are related, I knew that each parent would have to be a descendant from one ancestor. Who was it? I made a pedigree for each family and found out that we are all related to John Borntrager and his wife Barbara Johns. Barbara Johns is known as the founder effect for SCIDS in the Midwest. Her grandparents, Johannes Holy and Veronica Miller, are the founder effect for SCIDS throughout the Amish population in the United States. They immigrated from Switzerland on November the 3rd, 1750. I am 7 generations, and my wife is 6 generations from John Barntrigger and Barbara Johns. Every generation from me all the way back to John Barntrigger and Barbara Johns were all carriers of skids. All the siblings from these carriers had a 50% chance of being a carrier, and those carriers' children had a 50% chance of being a carrier too. This is how the carrier rate spreads within the Amish population. Whenever two partners get married and each are a carrier of the same recessive genetic disorder, there will be a 25% chance for each of their children to have the disorder.
Wow, Glenn, so much work goes into those pedigrees. Why do you feel it's beneficial to use pedigrees when diagnosing genetic disorders?
I believe pedigrees are a big help to geneticists to pinpoint what the patient may have. Almost all recessive genetic disorders trace back to one common ancestor. The common ancestor is known as the founder effect. If the geneticist believes it might be a certain disorder and the pedigree shows it does not trace back to the common ancestor of that specific disease, it will rule out the disorder, thus saving money on testing.
So, any last thoughts or comments before we go that you would like to share with the audience?
Yes, sometimes when we don't understand the way genes work, people believe our genes can be changed. Some believe that taking vitamins and mineral products can prevent genetic disorders. We cannot change mutated germ cells in our body. We cannot change God's plan.
Glenn, you always teach me something new. Thank you for allowing me to share your story. I'm very blessed to call you my friend. And until next time, have a great day.